Democrats shocked the political world, coming this close to retaining their House majority in the 2022 midterms, missing out by just 5 seats. All of those races decided by less than 1%. Altogether, Democrats lost those 5 seats by a combined total of about 6,700 votes out of more than 100 million ballots cast. Progressive grassroots organizations like Swing Left now gearing up for November to ensure there are no near misses like those this time around. Today, the group releasing a list of 12 states it's focusing on to win back the House and to hold on to the Senate and the White House. Joining us now on behalf of Swing Left, Golden Globe award-winning actors, political activists Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick. Good morning, guys. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you guys.
We can dig into the Upper West Side restaurant scene later. I know you guys are deep in conversation about that. But tell us about Swing Left. This is not a new organization, came to be in the early days of the Trump administration. Kira, what was the impetus behind it, and what are some of the goals this time around?
You know, I think I learned about Swing Left in 2017 when I was feeling a lot of hopelessness and despair around what happened in 2016. I feel like to a certain extent, you know, I was living in a dream state of being asleep. I think a lot of Democrats felt that way. And suddenly here we were in the situation that we were in. And I became very excited and hopeful about joining an organization that did all the math for me and helped me to figure out the flippable, winnable seats in the 2018 midterms. And swingleft.org is an incredible organization that really helps me to turn my despair into activism and hopefulness. And they've got a plan for the election. And as you said, a lot of these seats are going to come down to, you know, a couple thousand votes. And we really need all hands on deck here, and we're excited to talk about how people can really dig in.
And Kevin, we can get into some of those specific races in a minute, but you both talk about that feeling of despair that I think a lot of Americans still feel. They go, are we going to do this again? And they kind of disengage from the process in some ways. You guys are making the case for the opposite.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I feel the same thing. I get up in the morning. Sometimes I read the paper. I go, I don't know what to do about this feeling. And sometimes the impetus is just to step back and say, well, I can't do anything. But you know what? You know, this is our country. This is our democracy. These are the things that we believe in. If you get in any way active, as Swing Left will very easily steer you in that direction, you will feel better. You will. I mean, because you feel like you are, you know, taking control over, you know, your future, basically. And that's what they're so great about. And swingleft.org just makes it easy.
So, Kira, let's talk about some of the states that matter this time around and what this organization is trying to do. In the House and the Senate, 2 very different scenarios. In the House, it's actually blue states. Right. It was New York that let Democrats down last time around. New York and California is so key this time. But if the Democrats are going to keep the Senate, it's a couple of red states, Montana and Ohio. So what's going to happen?
God, if I knew the answer to that question.
What the organization is going to do. What will the organization do?
Well, I think that what they're really great at is learning and doing all the math about what the actual winnable seats are. And so they help people they direct volunteers, they direct money and volunteers. They train volunteers to knock on doors, to do letter writing campaigns, and to do, of course, phone banking. And all that kind of, you know, flesh on flesh, person to person talking and encouraging people to get out and vote, hopefully will be the key to winning some of these elections.
You know, if you get out there, not just in your neighborhood, your own neighborhood, but anywhere in the country, you are bound to encounter someone in conversation who will raise the following issue with you. I think we're losing our country. You know, and you listen to them, and they have a legitimate concern about it. One of the elements of Swing Left, I'm looking at the one sheet on it, is a letter writing campaign that you began. So letter writing from the Civil War on through Vietnam, letter writing, the personal letter, was enormously impactful, both emotionally to the recipient, as well as just the letter itself. How is that working? How do you do it? How do you select who you're sending letters to, and who writes the letters?
Okay, so we have had letter writing parties at our house. We invite friends over, people, extended people. We get a couple of cheap bottles of wine or some coffee or whatever, cookies, and we have a box of letters that are addressed in these battleground states to Democratic voters. You write something personal. It's really satisfying, strangely, because it is, as you pointed out, pen on paper. Licking the envelope, putting it in the box and sending it to somebody, something that they can hold in their hands. Very different than a robocall.
Yes.
Very different than the sea of emails, telling us about gloom and doom. You can say, I'm sending you this because, I care about democracy.
This is why I vote.
This is why I vote.
And they make it so easy on the site because they'll help you to download all the letters, dear whatever, and then you sign. And they also have all the addresses, so they make it incredibly easy for you. So, it's really not hard. It's also a communal thing. Yeah. It helps people to feel like they're in a community. If we all feel so alone and isolated in our own fear and our own worry, we're gonna feel frozen. But if we're come together and have these communal experiences trying to affect change, nothing in this country has ever changed without a people-powered movement. It's all about people. And, I think these, both sides to a degree try to tell us that we don't have the power, but we do. We have the power. It's we the people. That's all it is.
My big takeaway is we're all invited to your house to drink wine. Drink wine and write letters.
What kind of cookies do you
we'll put the home address down there on the bottom of the screen there so you can come over. Kevin and Kira both, let's talk about how Democrats are feeling right now. Yes, it feels like a time of almost panic that Donald Trump could return to the White House, but about Joe Biden. He's not this Obama-like figure that inspires a movement and everything else. But if you look at the data, you look at how the economy's doing, you look at all of that, the country is moving in the right direction. The White House would make that case.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I think he's done a really incredible job. I think the economy is thriving. And I think that he's incredible. Of course, I'm very happy about what he's done about climate. Of course, there's much more that we can do, but I'm happy he's, in the game of doing the work that needs to be done.
Yeah, I think, if possible, if you just look at the issues, just focus on the issues, just focus on the things that you really care about, that mean something to you, and look at the two options there, and if you go to the issues, it's a no-brainer.
Before we let you go, Kira, you directed your husband a couple of years ago in Space Oddity. Was that the first time that had happened? If so, how difficult was he?
It was not the first time. Actually, it was also in my first movie.
Okay,
and surprisingly easy, boring answer, very easy.
By the way, I'm sitting here, so the question doesn't really work.
Well,
we'll talk offline.
You have her back by herself.
When I come over to write the letters, we'll catch up on that.
Yeah, we'll hang.
If you want more information on how to get involved, visit swingleft.org during this critical election year. Kevin Bacon, Kira Sedgwick, so great to see you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.